So do you?
Genes.
Genes.
What you inherit from your ancestors.
Inheritable characteristics, yeah.
There you go.
Inherited, call them characteristics, but genetics is a blueprint of a map of how we end up, how we turn out.
I think genetics is something, I don't know, the way I look like, I think it's because of my genetics.
Small parts, and in these small parts can carry some distinct features.
I think it's me.
Cynical. Cleverness. Smartness.
Lots of different ways to define it. You can be like street smart or book smart or musically smart.
For me, intelligence is when people are able to achieve their goals, for example.
I think intelligence is a lot of things. Because you can measure intelligence with these IQ tests, but that is not what I think that intelligence is only about.
No.
No, I don't think so. I think genetics they're there, but you can form your intelligence, and then it's formed by your social surrounding, and I don't think it's necessarily part of your genetics. It's part of it, but it's not. It doesn't equal.
Abilities can be passed on. Maybe intelligence can too, but maybe the social background has a lot to do about it.
This is Cathal and Patrick. They are identical twins from Carlow who both got 554 points in the Leaving Cert back in June. Studies have shown that identical twins who have been raised together have an intelligence correlation of 86%. The most important exam of their lives might have already proved this, but we wanted to put them through our tests. Identical twins are used as a control as they are raised in the same environment, and as a result, their genes have a greater role to play. Adoptive studies support the idea that genes are involved in your intelligence since they are not genetically similar. Adoptive siblings are not genetically similar, therefore they should not have similar IQ scores. However, adoptive siblings grow up in the same environment, therefore when they're younger they tend to have similar IQ scores, but as they grow older, genes play a greater role in determining intelligence and their IQ test scores tend to diverge. This is known as the linear increase in heritability. It has been estimated that during infancy, genes account for 20% of their intelligence. However, this increases to 40% in childhood and 60% in adulthood. The underlying goal of general ability tests, also known as G-factor, is to assess potential candidates in terms of their overall intelligence potential and build a profile of their individual strengths and weaknesses. Research shows that cognitive ability testing is a strong predictor of overall intelligence. There are many types of cognitive ability tests. However, they all correlate substantially. For example, if you perform well in verbal, on average you will probably perform well in memory or spatial reasoning. An IQ, or intelligence quotient, is a total score derived from several standardized tests designed to assess human intelligence. The average score is set at 100. Anything over 140 is considered high genius level. The Flynn effect deals with the issue of how general IQ scores of a population change over time. IQ scores have been increasing as each new generation takes the IQ test. This may be due to education, social changes and better nutrition. Recent generations did not outperform their ancestors in general knowledge of maths, but in the area of abstract reasoning there were huge improvements.
Intelligence is largely hereditary, so a lot of the differences between people across the population are due to differences in genetics. There's so many genes potentially linked to intelligence, so many genetic variants that can affect it, that first of all it's very difficult to find them, but secondly I don't think there's one set, there's not a stable set. This is probably changing all the time as new mutations enter the population. The Flynn effect is really interesting because it seems to suggest that as general nutrition, education and urbanization increase, that everybody's getting smarter. And that just seems to be true. Now, whether that'll level off at some stage, maybe it will, but certainly our environment is, I think, making us all more intelligent in a way that has nothing to do with genetics, just by habit, basically.